All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm your host, Chris Control, and we are live from the 704 once again for episode 221 of the 815 Exchange. And ladies and gentlemen, we are at the height of spooky season. This is the last episode of spooky season. And I'm not going to lie to you. This past weekend, it got very, very wicked. All right, it got very, very spooky. For some of your favorite fighters, it got very spooky at UFC 208. We're going to talk, 308. We're going to talk about that. For some of my favorite teams, it got very spooky, like in the World Series or even in college football. It got very spooky, and it's currently been a very spooky Sunday. And currently, the Mexican Grand Prix is going on, so we got some spookiness to go on, talking about Max and Lando and everything else that's going on right now in that F1 race. And of course, it got very spooky it was a very hectic, chaotic week. And also the NBA is back, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, NHL is back too. We got plenty to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. So how about you sit back, you relax, you remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And as always, everything you're looking for in this description can be found in my description. That makes no sense, but you got the point, okay? Timestamps embedded in the video, also my description, social media links. You want to follow me there. And the hecticness that's going to happen this weekend with Halloween, you can see that there. But like I said, it got real wicked this weekend. It got real wicked this weekend. And you know, it's going to be a long one probably. So sit back, like I was saying. Relax. Get your food, get your drink wherever you are. Get comfortable. Because we got some things to discuss here. And we're going to kick it off with the fight game like we always do when there's a major event in the UFC or in boxing. And ladies and gentlemen, UFC 308 was a big one. Alright, UFC 309 is going to be overrated as alright, I'm not going to lie to you. Again, they keep trying to sell this like dream match between Stipe and John. And I'm not going to lie to you. I don't care. It does nothing for John Jones' legacy if he beats a washed up, hasn't fought in 3 years Stipe Miocic. It does not make him the greatest heavyweight of all time. It doesn't make him the undisputed GOAT. It doesn't even hurt Stipe's, in my opinion. It's a glorified exhibition for John. There is no way. John should be embarrassed if he loses this fight to Stipe. I'm going to be honest with you. He should be embarrassed. Embarrassed. This is the layup of layups. This is the equivalent to a young fighter fighting a can. Okay? Stipe is doing this to get, nice fat paycheck from Dana so they can just go add, a stat so he can go off John. But there's no reason. We don't care. Nobody cares. This is not for the real heavyweight title. Until John faces Tom Aspinall, I really don't care. He's not the real heavyweight king. Respectfully. But before we get to that, of course, we had UFC 308 and it had its own set of fireworks. And boy, oh boy. The BMF is a curse, okay? As you saw in the featherweight main event title, would the best still be blessed, or is Ilia Topuria the truth? All right, we were going to find out. Is Ilia that guy, or is the best once again, undisputably best? And you know what? We had this was very high level. For all 3 rounds it lasted, it was very, very high level striking. I mean, very, very. You had classic Max getting to the body, mixing it up, showing off the chin. And you also had Ilia showing why he is, undefeated and champion up to this point. And then the 3rd round came and Max got rocked. And Ilia entered. I have no other way to describe what Ilia Topuria entered in the round 3 besides what we say to be the flow state. He entered the flow state and reeled off. Max got backed up. He reeled off a couple combos, and it looked like Max might find a way to zombie his way out. But ladies and gentlemen, there is one thing that is true in this world, and especially in the fight game. And that is that father time, unfortunately, comes for all of us. And if you watch, especially the UFC, especially MMA, all of your favorite fighters, that time will come. And yesterday was the end of an era. That time came for multiple fighters of the past era. But we've seen it really heavily here in 2024. And time finally came for Max Holloway as Ilia Topuria lands a vicious, I think it was a right hand, a vicious right. Knocks out Max. First man to ever. He's only the 2nd man to ever knock Max down. He's the first man to ever knock out Max Holloway. And Ilia Topuria affirms himself at 27 years old with the power from the Lord as the next one. Alright, he is the truth. Ilia Topuria, I'm here to tell you here, October 27th, 5:10 p.m. on the East Coast. He is the truth. He is that guy. He can run this division. Even though it's full of killers, he can run this thing. All right. He's got that generational power in his hands. Okay. Now, we've seen a couple times at 145, and Ilia got the juice right now. To knock out Max is insane. And it wasn't like Max was like, looked washed or like he had fallen. Max looked like he had all the momentum back heading into this fight. He just had that insane knockout of Justin Gaethje. But like I said, that BMF title seems to be a curse because every man that's won it has been knocked out immediately after. Viciously. Masvidal, Gaethje, and now the blessed one. But yeah, Ilia knocks out a Hall of Famer. Featherweight is his. Nothing else needs to be said. Congrats to El Matador or whatever we're calling Ilia. But he is the featherweight king. That's what we call him. Khamzat Chimaev is back. But how back was he? In his first fight, he gets the Reaper. Hell of a way to come back. You get, future UFC Hall of Famer, former middleweight king, Robert Whittaker. That is your return. But I mean, if you're Khamzat, that has to be the return, right? A lot of people wondering, is Khamzat back? The health issues, what is he going to look like? It took we didn't even finish the round, so I guess technically one round, but technically not even one round. He quite literally broke Rob's face on a choke. I have never in my life heard of a man breaking his jaw on a choke. You know how insane that is? I have never seen Rob is a tough SOB. That man tapped in half a second. Alright? Khamzat's strength is ridiculous. The way I was just talking about Ilia's power, Khamzat's strength, generational. Alright? Generational at 185. Just mauled him. I've never seen Robert Whittaker get mauled the way that Khamzat did. Khamzat did what he does to everybody, but he did it to Robert Whittaker. There's no questions. He should be next up for DDP at 185. He should be next up. Not even a question. I mean, broke Rob's face. He set his teeth back on a choke, bro. On a choke. Rob landed 2 strikes. That was it. Khamzat back in full, looking like why he was the most hyped prospect in the UFC at one point in time. He, good gracious. He broke Rob's face. He broke the Reaper's face. Good luck, DDP. That's all I gotta say. Good luck. Ankalev, keeping up with the youngsters who seem to be potentially taking over. At light heavyweight, will he be next up for Peloton? All he had to do was beat Alexander Rakic, who, of course, gets a great golden opportunity coming off a loss to being a title eliminator here. And it was a good scrap. All right, I'm not going to lie to you. This was a very good scrap. This was a very good card as well. I do want to give a shout out to Uncle Dana and the matchmakers at UFC because this was a very, very, very strong card. Very well built. And it was, a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to watch. Ankalev Rakic was a really good scrap at light heavyweight. Some good stuff here. Some good striking exchanges. Rakic had some excess, but Ankalev, despite you might thinking and him having all the grappling credentials, just refuses. He's just like, I'm going to be a striker. He is just hard set on being a striker. He outstruck Rakic in this fight, and that was really what got it done and gets the unanimous decision and sets up that fight versus Peloton. Now, of course, can he beat the baddest man on the planet, Alex Pereira? I don't know. I think he might have to break out that grappling, that wrestling, if he wants to take out, Peloton, because we really haven't seen Alex really tested in that format, because light heavyweight tends to, gets, favor towards your power strikers or your counterattackers, tends to favor that. But Ankalev brings something a little bit different. But he, loves his striking exchanges. And if you want to do that with Peloton, do that at your own risk. So I don't know, but I do think he's the best contender we got left, all right, for Peloton to face before he goes and kills somebody at heavyweight. So yeah, that'll be fun. But yeah, Ankalev, Rakic, really good scrap. Rakic continues to be a perennial contender, but just can't reach that top level. But yeah, like I said, UFC 309, very, very good card. Lerone Murray and Dan Age was a really good scrap. UD saw that one. That was high level grappling. Like that was like sometimes, especially for more casual fans, grappling styled matches can be a lot more boring, so to speak. But that was a very exciting to watch. Like they were moving. They were I loved it. All right, that was the goods. All right, Inge and Murray was the goods. Murray looks like a really good prospect at 145. Again, that's the land of the killers, so no surprise there. But yeah, be interesting to see who he gets next. He wants, I think, Josh Emmett. That would be a good scrap. Shar is a bad man. A double back fist KO is crazy, and what was already a good fight. That was insane. So yeah, we had a couple of those. RDA got knocked out. I hope he's retired after that. And yeah, a really, really good card. Like I said, I spoke enough about the whole John Jones, Stipe, and my feelings on that. But 309 was golden. All right, it was absolutely golden. Even though, Max, Rob, unfortunately, the era is over. Okay, that past great era we had, these last like five, the era is over. All right, it feels weird because this is like my even though I'm old enough and I've watched UFC long enough to see kind of eras come and go, this really, this era really was special to me. So seeing it come and go, and now it's like the new era is really taking over now. It's a little bit like, man, hits a little deeper. So, but yeah, congrats to Ilia, congrats to Khamzat, congrats to Ankalev, and yeah, I think this is a very important card in setting up the future. So yeah, good stuff. All right, good stuff, Uncle Dana. And now, CFB. All right, college football. Ohio State. Ryan Day, is teetering on the brink of infamy and legendary and just being legendary. Like he teeters on that like no other head coach. I don't understand it. This game had no business being as close as it was. Respectfully, it had no business. Okay, Dylan was over his head. This was probably, even though he hasn't looked magical in a little bit, and really all season, if we take away some of the pop plays, he's looked like a freshman quarterback throughout this year. But I don't think he looked like a freshman quarterback more than he did in this game, right? Nebraska very much so looked like, okay, if last week was the come down to earth, this was the reality check. And they only lost by 4. Like, if Dylan has one of those great, he has a game where he pops, right? Then Ohio State very easily could have got upset here. And this was a game they had no business getting upset in, by the way. With 13 TFLs, right? If you look at the box score, 13 TFLs. Insane, right? Will Howard goes 13 for 16, 221, 3 touchdowns. He did have an interception, but 3 touchdowns. He had as many touchdowns as he had incompletions, right? Carnell Tate, who was supposed to be, we thought might be the next one before, we learned about J.J. Smith. He had, 4 receptions, 102 and a touchdown. J.J. also, Jeremiah Smith, continued his touchdown streak to start his career. On paper, you like OSU probably, made easy work of Nebraska, but they had a fight for this one. All right, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. They had a fight for this one. So, credit to Nebraska. I think that program is trending in the right direction, though they've had a, hard couple weeks. And losing these close games probably hurts Classic Nebraska, but they're heading in the right direction. You're competitive with a team like Ohio State, and you got a really young quarterback, really young and talented. However, there are going to be growing pains. There were growing pains in this game. But yeah, Ohio State offense is able to fuel them enough. All right, they needed some more from that run game, especially having Trayvon Henderson and Judkins to only run for, I think, under 100 yards. It's not going to work. But yeah, OSU gets it done, of course. We'll talk about who they got next week. Notre Dame and Navy. All right, was one of the big headlining matchups this week. Navy was undefeated. Notre Dame was scorching hot. And after, that loss to Northern Illinois, they seem to have figured it out. And boy, did it look like in this game. All right, they get the win 51-14. You can't have 6 turnovers and win a game. You just can't have 6 turnovers and win a game. All right? Somebody did. I think SMU actually had 5 or 6 turnovers and they still beat Duke. So maybe you can, but not against Notre Dame, I guess. But yeah, 6 turnovers for Navy. It was a killer. All right, they had 2 all year going into this game, and they had 6. All right, 5 fumbles in this game for Navy. Grim. All right, I don't know if it was them being in the Meadowlands or what it was, but just was not going for Navy. Riley Leonard had a day, 261 and 3 touchdowns. Jeremiah Love, everybody's CFB 25, favorite dynasty monster for Notre Dame. Good luck if you have to play him. 102 and 2 touchdowns for him. Horvath did have 129 and a touchdown for Navy. But like I said, they just got blown out of the water. Notre Dame was able to take advantage of every single turnover opportunity. And yeah, they blew them out. Smoked them. All right, smoked them. Congrats to the Irish. Oregon also smoked the reigning opponent this week and proved why they are the number 1 team in the country. 38-9. They take care of Illinois. Luke Altmaier just cannot play against top-tier competition. I'm convinced. He's a solid quarterback, but against elite competition, he wilters. If you look at his list of games this year, every time Luke has had to step up and maybe play like a star quarterback. Piss running down his leg. All right, every single time. Now, of course, he's facing a vaunted. All right, when you hire Dan Lanning, this is the defense that they talked about Oregon wanting. They got it this year, and that's why they are a national championship contender. And, of course, the number one team, like I said, in the country. Altmaier got picked off twice. DG went 294 and 4 touchdowns. He had a very good first half. That second half was not too pretty. But, yeah, Tez Johnson continues to be a phenom. 6 receptions, 102 and a touchdown. They had 7 TFLs of Illinois, and, yeah, they cooked. All right, simply put, they cooked them. All right, this was a dominant performance from Oregon, even though they kind of coasted in the second half. They looked every bit the number one team in the country. So, yeah, congrats to the Ducks. They keeping it going, looking like, hey, they may have just ran into the Big Ten. Again, they continue to, call it for what it is, but, it's all fair as long as the NCAA is, cool with it. But I don't know if there's been a team that's benefited as much from the COVID years as Oregon. Like, they have a lot of, 5-year guys. And that experience, they have utilized really, really well to put them in positions to have a really, really good team. So, it'll be interesting. And I think Oregon will be fine because they run the West. As much as I hate to say it as a USC fan, they run the West right now, recruiting-wise. I think they'll be okay because of how well-run that program is. But, yeah, after this year, without those 5-year guys like DG, like Tez, like so on and so forth, it'll be interesting, but I think they've done a really good job utilizing that to their advantage. So, yeah, credit to Oregon. Dominates Illinois. The blowouts continued, all right? The blowouts continued over ranked opponents. This one was because Brady Cook got injured in this game, and Drew Pine has no business. Please, put the fries in the bag, brother. Put the fries in the bag. Instead, he was putting the ball in Bama's hands. 3 interceptions for Pine after Cook gets injured. And it is a shutout in a pure get-back game for Bama. They shut down Mizzou 34-0. Missouri, you are now officially off fraud watch because you are officially fraudulent. All right, Luther Burden also is no longer wide receiver 1 in my opinion, respectfully. Though it's not completely his fault, Drew Pine was his quarterback this week. But yeah, 271 yards rushing for Bama. It felt like everybody that runs the ball for them scored. Hell, Richard Young, the freshman, had 89 yards. He didn't score, but he ripped off a beautiful 60-yarder. But yeah, Bama cooks Mizzou 34-0. Easy work. Horns. All right, Texas takes on Vandy. In Vandy. All right, and I don't know what Clark Lee and Diego are cooking in that stadium, but it's dangerous. All right, Texas started off cooking. Quinn Ewers looked like he got his swagger back, and then the second half came, and all that came crashing down. Quinn still finishes with 288 and 3 touchdowns and a pick, and Texas still survives, all right? They did not beat Vanderbilt. They survived, okay? 27-24 by all intents and purposes. St. John's Bosco got murdered by Mater Dei, but Demo had a good night, all right? 6 receptions, 97 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Diego also replicated Quinn's 3 touchdowns, 2 pick stat line. But yeah, it was an unfortunate start for Diego, He's done so much for that program. It feels weird to say, hey, if he played better, they could have done it. But if he played better, I think early on, he could have made something happen. But yeah, Vandy, that program is headed very much so in the right direction. And they are building a cauldron of nightmares for top-tier opponents in that stadium. So yeah, Vandy continues to look dangerous. Texas, however, survives and gets a little bit of a get back. Not too comfortable, though. Now, all right, LSU. What you going to do? You're facing Texas A&M, all right? How are you going to go? 2 teams headed in the right direction. They lost that opener and then went on to win, 5-6 straight? How's it going to go? All right, this is a very big game, very pivotal game in the SEC this year. And again, Garrett Nussmeier, he really is Brett Favre's child. I mean, I think we need a DNA test. I really do think we need a DNA test for Garrett Nussmeier because he has too much Favre in him. And sometimes that coin, it's so volatile that it's in the game to the point he had 405 yards. Sometimes in this game he looked like a first-round quarterback. He threw 2 touchdowns. He also has the bad Favre, which threw 3 interceptions and made some absolutely boneheaded decisions. But I can't put this loss completely on Nuss, even though BJ Mays picked him off twice and, Texas A&M secondary and just Texas A&M defense at certain points in this game was giving him hell. All right? I can't put it on baby Favre. No, because I think TAMU and Mr. Mike Elko, shout out to the former Duke coach, won this game. I think College Station in the 12th man. A lot of people talk about whether Kyle Field is overrated as an atmosphere or, if it's justified. That atmosphere on Saturday night was electric. I mean electric. So I think the 12th man won this game. And most of all, Marcel Reed, the freshman quarterback, came in for Connor Wigman, injured his shoulder, wasn't looking great, so they threw Marcel in, and he looked like baby Lamar Jackson. I'm not going to lie to you. The man looked like baby Lamar. Okay? I haven't seen a man that elusive since number 8 was running down with Louisville. It was getting out of hand. He had a hat trick. All right? He had not 1, not 2. But like I said, that Hattie, he had 3 of them boys. All right? 3 touchdowns to fuel the Aggies to a 38-23 win over LSU. L's down, gig 'em. All right, Texas A&M gets it done. Marcel Reed, like I said, what a hell of a way to make a debut. Even though it wasn't like his debut, he had, I think, 6 touchdowns going into the game. But his first real, national exposure, welcome to the Marcel Reed experience, had the 12th man, had Kyle Field going crazy. All right, I saw somebody compare it to atmosphere when Johnny was there. Okay, that's how lit he had it. But Marcel Reed, very, very good. He didn't throw the ball but too light. Okay, he ran it twice. I mean, he threw it twice. All right, he threw it twice, so we still got to see that. But from a running perspective, from a scrambling perspective, he's got it in the bag. All right, and he was giving LSU's defense some issues. And they had no way to counteract. It very much so looked like, we've game planned for Connor and trying to figure that out, and then Reed comes in and we got nothing. All right, we got nothing. No Raph, we got nothing. So yeah, TAMU ends up getting it done, 38-23. Like I said, pivotal SEC matchup, huge matchup in terms of kind of setting up the future. By the way, does Texas A&M and Texas have to play? I think they do. So I'm actually gonna check that. We're gonna check that live. All right, we're gonna check that live. I'm not even gonna ask y'all. I need to find this out because that game will be so unbelievably toxic. I'm talking Michigan State, like toxic. Michigan State fought this week, by the way. Congrats to Michigan for finally winning another game. Even though that was still ugly, but they got the win over quote unquote little bro. But yeah. Does Texas A&M? Y'all play Texas since y'all now in the same conference again. Can we run that back? Oh, it's the last game of the season. Oh yeah, that looks very, very nice. Good job, schedulers. All right, that worked out beautifully. So yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. But yes, Texas A&M gets the win over LSU. Gig 'em. Shout out to Marcel Reed. And yeah, to end up the rest of this college football segment, Travis Hunter is still that guy. Dominant receiving performance this week. And yeah, Colorado ranked again. They could very viably, by the way, win out the Big 12 and win and be in the playoffs. That's not out of the realm. All y'all wanted to talk about, Dion. Put some respect on his name. Put some respect. They are bowl eligible, by the way, after the win this week. Put some respect on Primetime's name. Put some respect. That's all I'm asking for. Put some respect. Penn State plays Ohio State in the big game next weekend. Prayers to everybody in Happy Valley because apparently Trump is pulling up. Big Noon is pulling up. College Game Day is there next. Like, good luck. And apparently it's hell to even try to get into that stadium. So, yeah, good luck. But that's going to be a very, very big game. All right, paramount because James Franklin needs to beat a Michigan or Ohio State. Penn State, if they want to, be considered a serious championship contender, needs to win this game. And Ohio State needs to get the revenge for losing for Oregon. So, yeah, huge game. Alar got injured this week, so this is going to be very important for that he is back with the way he's played for them this year. He is that guy, even though the backup played very, very well this week. They're going to need Alar. All right, they're going to need Drew. Ohio State, of course, is at full power. So, yeah, we will see. But Penn State, Ohio State is going to be cooking next week. We'll talk about that then, though. Next, ENT. Not a lot to talk about TV shows-wise. Penguin's still going on, but we talked about that live last week. So, and I'm recording before it this week, so we won't be able to talk about it. I'm also watching Jujutsu Kaisen. It's lived up to the hype so far. Very, very, very enjoyable. Love is Blind I finished. Garrett and Taylor are the only couple ever. The rest of y'all I just do not care about. And are varying levels of, okay, I rock with them, and oh god, I hope I never see this person in real life. So yeah, that's how that was. Music though, we had a couple drops. Herbo for some reason dropped the deluxe for Big Swerv called Big Swerv 2.0, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it needed a deluxe. Y'all know I very much so like Big Swerv, probably one of my albums of the year in that contention. But I did not really like Big Swerv 2.0. Again, I need to listen to it in full, but I in my little skim set, I wasn't really, I was busy this weekend, so I didn't really get to listen to it in full. So maybe it's better. But Big Swerve 2, I wasn't really rocking with it. All right, Clap was good. The last two songs I was really rocking with, but a lot of them I was like, okay, I don't know. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. And I don't think it needed a deluxe, but hey. But overall, Big Swerve, the OG version, still very, very good project, aged very well. However, Big Swerve 2.0, don't know how I feel about it. Tyler, the Creator, continues his rollout for Chromaticatopia, or I think that's how it's said, or Chromatopia, or whatever. Alright, Tyler's dropping an album in like a week or 2 weeks, but Thought I Was Dead, dropped that on Twitter. Very polarizing. Very, very polarizing. I feel like Tyler is he's worn off the hype is worn off a little bit. No, like he's still like a big artist, very popular, but like the acceptance of okay, everything he does is brilliant has definitely wore off, I feel. So yeah. Gonna be very interesting to see how this album is received. But I Thought I Was Dead was fine. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Tyler, so maybe it's because I'm a fan, but I was rocking with Thought I Was Dead. I think he's been very good so far. Classic Tyler as of late. So yeah, I'm cool with it. Thought I Was Dead. I was rocking with. Bridges, Aitch continues to drop more music. His work ethic has been insane. Another foreign artist, and Ezhel this week. And yeah, Bridges, very, very good stuff. All right, more good stuff from Aitch. Another cosign there. Other stuff that happened in music, of course, was Lil Durk getting arrested. They say my boy might get life, so we gonna see. All right, we gonna see, and we'll talk about it here on entertainment. But yeah, we gonna see. But good luck to Smarkio, because that is not what you want to see. All right, that's not. I'm not gonna lie to you. Life is kind of crazy, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, good luck to Smarkio. MLB this week. All right, MLB, Major League Baseball, World Series. And I'm coming to you, and I'm not gonna lie to you. We're getting swept. I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. We get swept, okay? You resident Yankees fan, I've repped the jersey, I've repped the ball. I got nothing. No Raph, but I got nothing this week, man. I think we blew our opportunity in game 1. All right, we had no reason to lose this game. I don't know why in the hell they have 10 million MVPs on this team. It's a super team, right? It makes no difference whether you pitch to Mookie or to Freddie in that situation. I wouldn't have loaded up the bases and put more pressure on my pitcher in that situation so Freddie could go hit the first ever walk-off grand slam in World Series history. I wouldn't have done that, personally speaking, but it doesn't matter, right? Just pitch to Mookie, try to get him out. We only needed one more after Verdugo made an insane catch. Blown opportunity. Blown opportunity in game 1. Should have won that one. Yesterday, I can't even, the Dodgers won that game. All right, they won that game. Rodon apparently looked like he had blisters. Kept him out there. He gives up 3 home runs, 2 in the third. That was all she wrote. And the other issue, and I hate to say it, because this is my favorite player. I love him. He's our captain. He's one of the great players of this generation. And it was supposed to be the Judge and Ohtani show, but both of them are looking very washed. Ohtani, of course, got injured yesterday, but he hasn't been looking great. Aaron Judge this is not the same Aaron Judge. This is not Aaron Judge in the regular season. Aaron Judge, this is the worst I've seen Aaron Judge play. This is worse than rookie year Aaron. This might have been, first time he got called up Aaron bad. This is not it. This is not it. You can't be 1B, best player in the world, best hitter in the world, and you're ghosting in the postseason. It's insane. It's like he's forgotten how to play. It does not look like the same player at all. At all. Now, he struggled with strikeouts early on in his career, but then his plate discipline got a lot better, and that's what made him, that 300-plus hitter, MVP candidate. Well, he was MVP candidate before that. But anyways, the plate discipline, is something that he's developed and he's gotten very, very, very good at. It's gone. It's gone. He's swinging at everything. I don't know what's going on. And, I need Aaron Judge to... I don't know where Aaron Judge is, but I need the real Aaron Judge to stand up. If the Yankees want to win a single game, right, it just can't be Stanton and Soto carrying this offense every single game. All right? It's not going to work. We're not as deep as the Dodgers where, Ohtani can play like this and it's okay because you got Freddie, you got Mookie, you got T.O. Oscar, right? You got Tommy Edman playing the way he is, right? You got all these guys that can step up in that lineup and make it happen. Like, they got that. That's the strength of the Dodgers. We don't got that. Our stars gotta be stars, and two of them have showed up, but the one that's supposed to be the guy has been missing in action, and I need him to show up. As much as I love him, he wants to go down as a Yankee legend, which he may already be, but to truly be a Yankee all-time great, you gotta win a World Series. Everybody knows it. You gotta show up in October. Two of them are. One needs to. 99 needs to make an appearance, all right? That's all I'm gonna say. I think we getting swept, but Judge, if the Yankees want to come back, has to be him. All right, it has to be him. The pitching has to, make plays, but it has to be Judge. It's got to be. No other way. No other way. Now, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, of course, that brings me to the National Football League this week, and let's get through it. It's been a rough week for me picking, all right, because everybody that I picked has lost. So let's go through that list of people that have lost, including the Minnesota Vikings, who lost on, I'm not going to lie, some crap, okay? Even though Stafford, by the way, had 279 and 4 touchdowns. Puka's back, by the way, 7 receptions, 106. Tutu Atwell, welcome to the cut list. Demarcus Robinson had 2 touchdowns as well. Cooper Kupp is also back. So, yeah, everybody was back this week for the Rams. But still, I don't know if they should have won because I don't know how you missed that face mask. That was pretty blatant. It cost the Vikings a chance to drive down the field, and Sam Darnold has been Sam Darnold this year, so you never know. And they got Jettas in that receiving corps. So, yeah, it definitely feels like the Vikings got robbed a little bit. Not that was a guarantee that they were going to win. But definitely feels like they got robbed. Because I don't know how that gave them a say. I don't know how you make that call. I just don't know how you make that call. And yeah, that was a bad one. All right, that was a bad one, but the Rams do get a win here over the Vikings. Patriots take out the Jets. Drake got knocked out with a concussion. And the quote-unquote soft New England Patriots have beaten the New York Jets. Listen, Brady's gone. He literally can't come back because he's the owner of the Raiders now. He's gone. Y'all are allowed. Listen, Jets, I don't know if you know, you are allowed to beat the Patriots. You're allowed to do it. It's not restricted anymore. The bad man can't hurt you anymore. So why is it that you're 2-6 and you still can't beat the Patriots, who are playing for a top 5 pick? I don't even know if the Pats are trying to win. They were talking about firing Jerome Mayo earlier this week, and Jets are cooked. All right, y'all are finished. Okay? That's all I got to say. You're finished. You're done. It's over. It's over. Okay? It is over. Wrap it up. It's K's. Done. Case closed. All right? Pats, Jets. The Jets are done. All right? Congrats to the Pats, though. All right? Good win. Always a good win against your rival. And it always probably feels good to beat the Jets. But yeah, the Jets are finished. That's all I got to say there. The Bengals. Welcome to Fraud Watch. Not that everybody had real big expectations of y'all, but y'all were literally supposed to be up there with the Ravens for the AFC North. And I'm going to be honest, it's been like this for a while. So welcome to Fraud Watch. The Eagles beat the brakes off these boys. I'm not even going to lie to you. Jalen Hurts is carrying my fantasy team, even though I'm still not going to win this week. But Hurts had not one, not two, but what I say earlier with Marcel Reed, 3 rushing touchdowns. All right, 3 of them boys. He had over 40 points fantasy. So if you started Jalen Hurts, you had a good week. But yeah, he has 4 touchdowns in this game, which is the same amount of incompletions he had. It was easy. All right, Saquon had 108. Devontae even got 688 and a touchdown. It was easy. All right, I'm not going to say hell, CD Deuce got a pick in this game. It was easy. All right, the Eagles made it look easy, of course. The big thing was supposed to be the Brown siblings, Sidney and Chase, joined the list of twins to play against each other in the NFL. But, the Bengals got smoked. All right, Joey B didn't have a good game. Jamar had 9 receptions, but still wasn't enough. Chase Brown scored in this game, but like I said, wasn't enough. All right, Eagles whooped up on them boys. Bengals, you on Fraud Watch. Jaguars, y'all are not on Fraud Watch. Y'all just suck. All right, I said that already, but y'all just suck. Okay, I got no more faith in this team. Y'all somehow find ways to lose. It's honestly remarkable. It is remarkable how dedicated the Jacksonville Jaguars are to losing in the most painful and most disappointing ways. There is not a team in the league besides the New York Jets that I mentioned already that is more dedicated to disappointing their fans than the Jacksonville Jaguars. It is honestly almost a skill. You almost have to try to be this disappointing. It's remarkable. But yeah, the Jags once again find a way to lose. Back and forth game, by the way. Very, very much so a back and forth game. Probably, objectively speaking, one of the best games to watch unless you're a Jacksonville fan. Probably very stressful as well for a Green Bay fan, as y'all were up 10, okay, at one point in the fourth quarter. But then the Jags came all the way back, and then they gave up a game-winning field goal chip shot. So that's how that goes. Jordan Love was definitely on his Favre, even though Malik Willis came in and went 4 for 556 and a touchdown. But absolutely no quarterback controversy. Don't you even worry about that. Josh Jacobs had a classic Jacobs game, though. 127 and 2 touchdowns. They could not stop him. So shout out to Josh. T-Law wasn't necessarily bad in this game. And like I said, helped lead that comeback. But I don't know what to say to the Jags. All right, I really don't know how to fix that team. Y'all are just kind of cooked. This is going to be very brief. I know normally we talk at length about the Lions, but they beat the brakes off the Titans. They did what they were supposed to do and looked like the best team in the league, 52-14. You know, I was worried about, Hutch and him getting injured and what that was going to do, but he looked fine. Now, of course, the Titans might have the number one overall pick next year, but they're doing what they're supposed to do. Jared Goff had an easy day, 12 for 15, 85 yards. 85. He also had 3 touchdowns, but 85 yards before it was like, all right, you're done. Gibbs went over 100 yards. Very easy. All right? Very easy game. All right? Blowout. Good stuff. All right? Best team in the league, in my opinion. We'll see if it continues, but they look fine right now. Yeah, I don't know if does anybody want to win the NFC South? Like, does anybody want to win the NFC South? They're cannibalizing each other at a remarkable rate. The Bucks and the Falcons played for who's got the top spot, and you would think the Bucks being at home, golden opportunity. But we've talked a lot about people with that Brett Favreism, all right? It is a disease going rampant amongst quarterbacks right now, and Baker Mayfield has always had a little Favre in him, and boy, oh boy, has it shown this year. It's been great. It's been great. When he's 4 touchdowns, 2 picks, and you win, it's great. But when he goes 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, and you lose by 7, or actually not even 7, you lost by 5, oh boy, does that hurt. You just can't turn the ball over. All right, as good as Baker is, and I think he can be the guy in Tampa, he's got to cut down on the picks. It's excessive. There's the Favreism. It has to end. All right, you cannot give a team that is competitive with you that many opportunities to go in and win a game, and that is what the Bucks did. That's what Baker did. All right. You got to get rid of the turnovers because that will take this team to a different level and help you take control of this division. But until you do that, you will continue to play down to some opponents. Not that you were playing down to the Falcons. Because let's be honest, y'all are on a similar level. It's not crazy that they beat y'all. But, the Bucks could be better. All right, Baker could be better. Not that he's been bad, but he could be better. Cade Otton continues his breakout season, by the way, though, in some positive news. 9 receptions, 81 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And the Bucks made a comeback in this game, but they just ran out of time. Kirk Cousins, by the way, had 276 for touchdowns. I'm not even going to lie to you. I have no idea where that cut, so I'm going to just have to clean that up in editing. So I'm just going to repeat what I was saying because I did not realize my timer went off. I'm not going to lie. So that's going to be a little bit of a scuffed segment in the middle of this. But as I was saying, Kyle Pitts, what the hell? All right. Had a great game, by the way. 2 touchdowns, but he should have had 1. Kids, carry the ball. All right. Again, cool to drop the ball. Drop it in the end zone. Don't drop it before. Don't drop it at the goal line. Drop it once you score. All right. That's all I'm saying. Drop it once you score, please. All right. It's paramount. All right, Daryl Mooney, by the way, continues to have a great year in ATL, where Kirko Chains as his quarterback. All right, it's been glorious for him. Kirko had 23 for 29, 276, and 4 touchdowns. Run game wasn't too crazy. Still had 129 as a team, but yeah, Atlanta does enough. Did a really good job to, go into Tampa, handle business. Kirko was playing like good Kirk. He was playing like Kirko, not Kirk. So, good stuff tends to happen. And like I said, Baker, stop throwing picks. All right, stop throwing picks, my boy. Cardinals and the Dolphins, all right? Miami Dolphins is the AFC East. I mean, it is, the Bills are supposed to be in a down year, and there's not a single threat. like they are walking into a room with the AFC East teams, and they're like, I'm so safe. I can turn my back. They pulling that silky clip, right? Like it's easy. It's easy. It's easy. When you don't have to worry about nobody. All right? The Patriots suck. The Jets are the Jets. The Dolphins, Tua's back and they lost to the Cardinals. At home. At home. Lost on a game winner. Which, again, credit to Kyler Murray for playing like... Again, Kyler has never been the issue in Arizona, and they don't need to replace him. All right, he's the franchise quarterback. Y'all just got to build. All right, Cardinals, please, build. By the way, you're 4-4, so not bad. But, yeah, y'all just got to build. Kyler had 307 and 2 touchdowns. He outduels Tua, if you want to call it a duel. I wouldn't call it a duel. Trey McBride had a really good game. 9 receptions, 124. Didn't get in the box, but Marvin Harrison Jr. did. 6 receptions, 111, and a touchdown for the rookie. Looking very much so like Marv. You know, Marv is Marv, and he looked like Marv in this game. So, yeah, good stuff there. Tua didn't play bad in his first game back, but, yeah, nothing too crazy. Cheetah, just, you know, YouTube is looking like a great deal right now. Waddle didn't go crazy. Tua gave up 3 fumbles, so, or he fumbled 3 times, so, lost 2 of them, I think, right? Or no, they actually got both of them back, but 3 fumbles nonetheless is an issue. It's an issue. All right, and I still say he needs to consider retirement, but hey, all right, hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Cardinals on top, 28-27, whatever credit's due. Browns, Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens just don't want to be elite. I don't know why they don't want to be elite, why this team has such a dedication to not being elite, but they just don't want to be elite. They just don't want to. They don't want it. They don't want it. The Cleveland, this should have been a layup, bro. Deshaun Watson, Achilles is gone, right? Jameis Winston is in at quarterback. The Ravens get a chance to prove their superiority and just laid an egg. All right, just completely laid an egg. Completely laid an egg. Jabbo goes 27 for 41, 334, and 3 touchdowns. Look like franchise quarterback Jameis Winston. Number 1 pick, Jameis Winston. That is what Jameis looked like, all right? I don't know what Lord he was praying to. I guess it was mine, because he gave him blessings, all right? He gave him blessings. The football gods blessed Jameis Winston's arm on this day, and it was glorious, all right? It was glorious for the Browns. This is the most happiness they felt all season. The bad quarterback is gone, and Jameis Winston looks like the guy all of a sudden. So I don't know. Maybe they fixed him. We'll see next week. Cedric Tillman had 7 receptions, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns. They had 3 sacks of Lamar in this game. Lamar, I think the epitome is Lamar going, dancing out of the pocket, avoiding the pressure, throwing across the field on the money to Rashard Bateman, but he can't see the ball because of the sun, so it hits him dead in the numbers and bounces off comedically. Like, I think that's the epitome of the Baltimore Ravens sometimes. Like, that was the ideal Lamar Jackson era Baltimore Ravens play. Lamar makes an absolutely insane play, ball in the money, everything's right. Hell, Bateman did a good job getting open, and it just does not work out. Like, that's the epitome. That is the epitome of the Baltimore Ravens. King Henry scored, as he seems like he's going to score every single game this year. But like I said, Jameis Winston took over. All right, Jameis Winston legacy game, and the Browns have won a game. All right, they've won their second game, so maybe they are out of the cellar. We will see. Anthony Richardson played a horrible game and still had some moments where it's like, you know what, maybe he can still be the guy. But I'm not going to lie to you, played an absolutely disgusting game, all right? There was some absolutely disgusting quarterbacking going on here. He was 2 for 15 at one point in time. He finishes 10 for 32, all right? 10 for 32. It was bad, all right? It was bad, okay? AR had some moments it was the most Anthony Richardson game I can recall. I'm not going to lie to you. It was all over the place. JT had 105 and a touchdown. Josh Downs had an insane, what I thought was a touchdown catch, but he still finishes with 4 receptions, 109 and a touchdown. But yeah, AR all over the place. 2 turnovers, horrible completion percentage. It was rough, okay? It was rough to watch if you were a Colts fan, especially considering the Texans only beat you 20-20, all right? Only beat you 20-20. It wasn't like Stroud went off. Mixon did have a really good game, 102 and a touchdown. But yeah, with Stroud looking human in this game and, you being in a position to win this game multiple times, it just sucks to not have an actual quarterback. And that is what happened, all right? That is what happened. Texans, though, they get to survive what was an ugly game for Anthony Richardson. All right, evening slate has concluded, and it still was wicked, all right? It still got wicked. Saints, it's been wicked for weeks. All right, it's been wicked for weeks. So I'm not gonna get into it. All right, Lad McConkey had a career day though, 6 receptions, 111, and 2 touchdowns. But the Chargers handed y'all 26-8. Bills Seahawks once again also not gonna go too crazy on this one. Seahawks, y'all were fighting in the middle of the game. Bills again are very quietly doing just fine. All right, Khalil Shakur had a big day, 9 receptions, 107. James Cook is way. I mean, he's better than his brother at this point. It was almost like James came into the league and Dalvin's fall off almost coincided. It's kind of crazy. It's like the Cook brothers just kind of traded talents. But yeah, he had 111 and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Josh Allen did Josh Allen things, and Keon Coleman also got in the box. So shout out to the rookie. I also saw that block that's been all over Twitter. But yeah, Seahawks, y'all didn't have a great day. So we ain't going to get into it. I want to talk about this. All right. Of course, we have the matchup of the number one and number 2 overall picks. That took me too much difficulty to say. All right. But Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels is what this was supposed to be. And I'm going to be honest. It was really the Bears defense versus the Commanders defense. All right. That was the real game. Okay. Because neither of the rookie quarterbacks particularly played well. I would say Caleb did not play a great game. He only went 10 for 24, 131. Was really inaccurate, in my opinion. I think there was some missed opportunities. Showed some glimpses of the magic, but also just he didn't really play a good game, to be completely honest with you. Jaden Daniels, again, credit, because the Commanders have one of the best defenses in the league. I think they've proven that, and they proved it again today. Jaden Daniels didn't play a great game, but he did have one more moment of magic. Because the Bears go down the field. Roshan Johnson, thank you. Me and my fantasy team needed that. Puts it in from 1 yard away with 23 seconds to go. 23. I click away because I'm like, yep, the Bears got it. You know, they're up 15 to 12 at that point. They got the 2-point conversion. Caleb with the pop pass to Kamen. I'm like, all right, that's it. All right, we good. It's over. All right, 23 seconds. Bears defense has been really good. Surely. But, you know, that's the beautiful thing about sports. You know, even with my ops here in Washington, that's the beautiful thing about football. Anything can happen. As long as there's time on the clock, there's always a chance. And as much as, you know, we've throughout the season I'm not gonna lie, we've been doing tricks on it for JD, all right? And somewhat deserved, let's be honest, with his performance. But we've been doing tricks on it. And some people may still be doing tricks on it after today. But I cannot give, though I will say good improvisation, moving around, giving people time to get down the field and make something happen. But and we've seen worse Hail Mary throws. But I can't give the credit to winning this game and one of the great Hail Marys of all time. I can't give that credit to Jaden Daniels. It'd be wrong of me, especially as a former receiver, to give really more than 20%, 30% of the credit on that play to Jaden Daniels. I would be doing tricks. Noah Brown, thank you for reminding people about the tip drill. Because as a kid, I used to do this all the time. Whether even outside of football, but in anything where there was like a crowd and we were like throwing like a football or any type of ball. I used to love, and for some reason I think it made my reflexes better now looking back at it. But I used to love like sitting back and just basically playing tip drill. Because somebody's going to tip it backwards and I would always be there to like dive and go get it. And that's what happened. That is what happened. 52 yards, JD puts it in the air. It bounces off a collection of hands into Noah Brown, who's just sitting there in the end zone. He turns around, touchdown, and that was the game. That was the game. The Bears managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Honestly remarkable. You lost on a tip drill. After you played like crap, we're losing the entirety of the game except for the last 23 seconds in which you scored, and then you had 23 seconds in which your defense has played a great game to just shut the door and not give up a Hail Mary. And you gave up a tip drill Hail Mary. So, yeah, just classic Bears. Classic Bears. Commanders are currently God's favorite team. There's no other way to put what this season has been for Washington. They are the Lord's favorite team. They are God's favorite team. They are blessed and highly favored with, I don't know what just clicked into place. Even more than just drafting Jaden. Something in this organization has just clicked and it's working right now. So yeah, credit to Washington as much as I hate them, but they're making it work. Swift had a big game, but it was all for nothing as the Bears lose on a tip drill. Shout out to Noah Brown. The Broncos beat the Panthers again. Don't really need to go into detail about this. Bryce played this game because Dalton was out. He threw 2 picks. He had 2 touchdowns. He looked okay. He did get outplayed by Bo Nix, who had 284 and 3 touchdowns. But then again, Bo Nix had the privilege of playing the Panthers defense, so advantages. And lastly, the Chiefs and the Raiders went down to the wire. All right, they went down to the wire, and the Chiefs are 7-0. It does not feel like they're 7-0. I guess it's just because we're so accustomed to the Chiefs being the Chiefs. But they're 7-0. So technically speaking, even though I call the Lions the best team in the league, the Chiefs are by record the best team in the league. But yeah, very quietly, the Kansas City Chiefs are the best team in the league by record. And honestly, off of legacy, the best team in the record. Travis Kelce, welcome back to the NFL. 10 receptions and 90 yards and a touchdown for one of the greatest tight ends. Hold on. Doing tricks. Like I just said. Doing tricks on it. Hold on. One of the greatest tight ends of all time in the future Hall of Famer. Patrick continued to throw interceptions, but he did throw 2 touchdowns. So a better ratio this week, 262. Gardner Minshew, however, did not throw a pick this week. So everybody give a round of applause for Gardner Minshew for not throwing an interception. He did get sacked 5 times, though, in this game, and they had 33 yards rushing, which is not good. Got to give credit once again to that Chiefs defense, which has been elite since last year and remains elite this year, and is a big reason why they are undefeated. They sacked Gardner, by the way, like I said, 5 times. Got 7 TFLs. They hit him 8 times. So yeah, a lot of pressure was big time, and really especially late, where Kansas City didn't really shut the door and kind of gave an opportunity to Vegas to get back in. They scored with 2 minutes to go, but then Chiefs were able to shut the door then. But they left the door for this thing wide open for a very, very long time. It didn't really put Vegas away, which is usually dangerous. But, Chiefs are the Chiefs. They're undefeated. They beat the Raiders. And ladies and gentlemen, that was the week in the NFL. And that, of course, will bring me to the Roundup. Yes, and we're talking about motorsport, of course. I mentioned it in the intro, all right? The Mexican Grand Prix, it was getting wicked. It was getting spooky. It's weird building up to. It's inevitable, I feel, at this point. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it feels like it's inevitable that Lando and Max are going to crash each other. Last week in Austin, right, Lando gets penalized, maybe unjustly for, getting the position and then not giving it back. And racing very, very hard with Max. Very controversial whether Max pushed him off the track. It happens again here on... off of the restart after Yuki and Alex Albon. After Logan left, it's just like Alex has lost all of his best of the rest. It's dying down. All of the hype is gone. But yeah, after that incident, Max gets hawked down by Carlos, who started on pole, by the way, and then fighting with Lando, and he forces Lando off the track twice and ends up getting a 20-second penalty, which kills his race. Lando ends up passing him anyway, and while they did that, Charles passed him. So yeah, the no good, very bad day for Red Bull and for Max, because not only did Checo, at his home race, by the way, fail to get Q1, he also finished dead last and also got penalized. So yes, horrible day. All right, a horrible day for Red Bull. I think they are now behind Ferrari and McLaren for the World Constructors. So yeah, not great in Red Bull right now. Max, this very much so felt like a race he could have won, but blew it early on with his own kind of frustration. I think the heat is getting to Max. Like I said, I think he's still going to win the WDC because he has such a lead. I just don't think anybody's going to be able to catch him. But he's not been in his element, which is not completely his fault, but he's been... I feel like the heat is getting to him. The same way we were just talking about Lando, the pressure was getting to him. I think the pressure is definitely getting to Max as of late. And I think his frustrations are we're starting to see Mad Max, the young Max, who was a little bit more reckless. We're starting to see that Max come out. So we'll see. Anyways, Carlos, the smooth operator, wins Mexico. He converts that pole. He needed that. That was really cool. Again, even though, if Sir Lewis Hamilton is available, then, you probably take him, even at this age and him, not necessarily being in his prime. You still probably take Lewis. But, man, Ferrari really could have... I really feel like Ferrari could have ran Carlos and Charles as a pair for a while. They get along. Carlos is like the best driver that's not one of the elite. You know what I mean? That's not, considered future world champion. right? You've got the legends tier of Fernando and Lewis, if you want to put them. They're kind of outside the box. But then you have like the big three that's supposed to be the elite, right? Of Max, Charles, Lando. Then you got Oscar, who's also considered a potential future champion. George is also considered maybe a future champion. And then outside that tier, it's Carlos. He's the best. And I really feel like he's the best number two I think you could have besides the McLaren probably pair of having Oscar and Lando naturally, but I feel like, or I guess you could say Lewis. Well, he's in my opinion. I think and even still, I think Carlos might be the best like number two driver to have because he's so good, so talented. He deserves to be in the best of the best. So yeah, it sucks that he's leaving Ferrari because I feel like really feel like they could win at constructors and Charles could win a WDC with Carlos as his teammate, and Carlos finished really well. So, as a Ferrari fan, that's a little bit bittersweet, but still good to see Carlos get at least one more. All right, get at least one more victory. And by the way, Ferrari's had the best car, which feels very weird to say, but they've had the best car recently. So yeah, we'll see if they can keep form as we go to Brazil. 23-11 had a great weekend. And Tyler Reddick does win at Miami with a last lap pass on defending champion Ryan Blaney. So he will be joining Joey Logano in the final four, the championship four as they call it in NASCAR. So yeah, very good race by the way. Very good race. So kudos to, again, I don't know why they took it just felt right. It just felt right having Miami as the last race. Usually some good racing, the Miami scene, it just felt right. So it feels weird that it's not anymore. But yeah, anyways, really good race. Probably one of the best chase races we've had in a long time. And yeah, Tyler wins. He's going to beat Joey. I'm not bitter at all. All right, I'm not bitter at all. NBA season is back. Of course, we had Bron and Bronny on the court, first father-son duo to play on the same team. First play, like just period. All right, first father-son duo in NBA history to play together at the same time. So that was a really cool moment. The Lakers are also 2-0. So let's cut the season, give them the Larry OB, and that's that. All right, I think Lakers fans, you would agree. But yeah, AD's looking like an MVP candidate. Bron looks like the effery is going to continue for another couple years because year 22 and he still looks like one of the best players in the league, and of course he was the best player at the Olympics. So yeah, Bron is still Bron. AD is looking like MVP. Wimby had a rough start, but boy oh boy, it felt like he had something to get off against the Rockets and had a really big day. Jason Tatum looks like he is actually those like Tatum's going to win MVP notions are looking really good right now because the Celtics look just as dominant and still look like the class of the league. So yeah. First week, still a lot to build, so we'll see. Same thing in the NHL. A lot, we building. All right, we still building. I will say, Mishkov looks really good right now for the Flyers, briefly. But to end this episode, 221, Real Madrid fans, close your ears. Leo, if you can hear this, close your ears. Barcelona is beating the brakes off of everybody, and I'm not gonna lie, bar Man City, they're probably the best team in the world right now, and that is crazy to say. I'm gonna be honest, but La Masia is the factory for a reason, and it just is money printing. It's money printing and talent printing, and it just cannot be stopped. So Barca, I'm so serious. Beat the brakes off of Bayern in Champions League this week, and then said, you know what, we're gonna run it against Madrid. By the way, I'm still trying to figure out what happened, right? Because even if Mbappe is offsides 500,000 times in that first half, that means y'all are applying pressure, right? Surely, with all the talent on that team, as long as you keep building that pressure, even if he's offside, you're going to score. You're doing something right. And then in the second half, I don't know what Lua put in that first goal, but it broke Madrid. It just broke them. And then he scored 2 minutes after, and then it was on. And then Barca was just doing what they wanted at the Bernabeu. They walked in Real Madrid's trap, as they say, here in the States, and took over their trap. Not the first time, and of course it's happened at the Camp Nou too, but Barca looks like the best team, bar Man City, of course, because Holland is back in form, in the world. And on the other hand, Kylian, I love you. I've called you the best player in the world many times. But yeah, y'all gotta figure something out. And I'm sure if Mbappe is who Mbappe is supposed to be, Real Madrid will figure this out. And the Real Madrid. If Real Madrid is who Real Madrid is, they'll figure this out and it'll work and they'll be fine. Alright, they're way too talented, way too good to not figure this out. And there are bigger problems on that Real Madrid team, by the way, besides, even though Madrid, obviously Mbappe as the big signing, as the supposed best player in the world, is getting a lot of the heat. there are bigger problems on that Real Madrid team, like in that midfield, that ever so talented midfield, not being able to produce for that front three or front whatever they're running, right? So yeah, there's bigger fish to fry, but yeah, Mbappe's gotta, even though he's not been bad, but he's Mbappe, right? He's elite. He's, like we said, and like I've said, supposed to be the best player in the world. We want a little more. And now you're wearing a Real Madrid kit. There's got to be, there's an expectation, right? He's better still, playing out of position, playing in this, adjusted scene. He's still better than pretty much almost every attacker, as the numbers, men lie, women lie, numbers do not. But the performances have to be better. He has to get comfortable. He has to figure out. He has to adapt. He's got to adapt, which is not always the case with top players, but the top players always do, right? The two aliens that we just saw, who might be the two best ever, right? Ronaldo adapted, right? He started off as a winger. He eventually became a striker, right? Not calling that Kylian is them, but he was able to adapt. He was able to find different ways to score, to produce. As he got older, he got more clinical, right? Messi started off very creative, very athleticism based. Now his brain has developed to such a point he can be this playmaker. He can play a little bit deeper, right? He can just use that creativity, use that impeccable technique that he has to produce, assist, goals, just be a machine, be the best ever, right? To be the GOAT, right? He's played all over that attacking scene and even played as like a number 10. So Kylian's gotta adapt. He's gotta adapt. He's gotta face the stars. He's gotta face the heat, but he's gotta prove that he can handle the heat and move through it, right? This cannot be something that crumbles him. So I think this is a really good test, right? If Mbappe wants to be one of the greatest of all time, then he needs to go through the fire. Right now, he's in the fire. And his fire is not as bad as a lot of people's fire, let's be honest. But yeah, he's got to go through the fire. Real Madrid have to go through the fire, right? And if he figures it out, then he'll be justified in, becoming one of the greatest. If this is where he falters, then man, we'll say, man, what a great young player Mbappe once was. But yeah, we'll see. But credit to Barca, they are running the show right now. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for episode 221. It is going to be a crazy week for me, and it is the last week of Halloween, Halloween Part 2 for a lot of us. So yeah, everybody be safe. If you haven't voted, go vote. I voted today. If you were here in the United States and you were eligible to vote, do it. All right, do it. Make sure you're informed. All right, don't just go vote to vote, because I just said vote. Go do research, because this matters, about who you're voting for, what are their platforms, right? Make informed decisions, and then go vote and use your right, because not everybody can vote. So do that, and yeah, be safe. All right, everybody be safe this weekend. But without further ado, Ocho signing off.